You heard the announcement from referee Tommy Little announcing Charlie Shanks from Belfast. And the round of applause from the crowd here for Luis Moreno. This is the quarterfinal match between the two. Referee Tommy Little. Nelson Quintero is one of the line judges on the backside. My name is Dave Vincent alongside James Comstoff here for this match.
Hello, Dave.
James is reviewing the referees from behind the monitor here as you're the head ref, also watching the match live here.
One of the other ways that Simple Green and the U.S. Open of Handball has stepped up to the plate this weekend is that they've funded fees for referees very well, and the result of that is that we've had excellent refereeing all weekend.
Yeah, this isn't one of those things where the loser has to ref. Except for in this case, the loser did ref. Tommy Little is actually, but he's one heck of, probably one of your top tier refs that's here.
Tommy Little is one of the best 5 referees in the world. He's very patient. He understands the game very well.
And he's a nice guy.
Right. If you're on the court and you're yelling at Tommy Little, you're probably wrong.
You're probably not winning, or you probably are Dave Fink.
Right.
It's one of the three.
2-1.
Score is 2-1. Charlie Shanks has one of the top 3 serves in the sport. Because he comes from Belfast and not here in the United States much, he doesn't get the respect. His serve down the right is tremendous.
He's an excellent offensive player. It's classic offensive handball, serve and shoot. Low, hard power serve down the wall, down the left and the right. And he's looking for a weak return and trying to pounce on a kill shot.
Very aggressive play from Charlie Shanks so far, and then he's playing against a guy that has maybe the best serve in the game, Luis Moreno.
Absolutely. The thing that Luis does, in addition to having a very hard and low power serve, is that he adds the element of a great hook. And that fools the returner, and he gets easy setups based on that.
2-4.
That's a score, 2-4.
Short. It's appealing to serve.
I saw it right on the line from here.
It looks short to me.
Second serve.
Oh, you're just backing your top ref. This is the U.S. Open of Handball, brought to you by Simple Green, sanctioned by the United States Handball Association and the volunteers of the Southern California Handball Association.
They get a very good, solid group together and put on a nice event. Charlie's a bigger guy, so it's harder for him than a smaller man to do the diving and retrieving that's necessary to stay in these rallies. And so it's going to be interesting to see whether he can keep it up for the entire match.
Called him double bounce on himself there.
It's one of the great things about handball is that it's a rare sport where the onus really is on the player to inform his opponent and the referee that he didn't actually get to a ball. A double bounce is a call that a referee really can't make. You know, you're screened by the body of the player, and it's part of the sportsmanship of handball that when the ball does bounce twice, you let everybody know about it and give your opponent the point.
Let's see what Charlie does for the second serve here.
One of the biggest things for a player that relies heavily on the serve is first serve percentage. And you know, Charlie can have a really bad game if he's not getting his serve over the line, and it's something to watch during this match to see if he can hit that great serve and not hit it short.
And the same would go for Luis Moreno, who has to be comfortable in that server's box in order to start getting points. And when he starts slapping his hand against his leg, you'll see it if he gets a couple points in a row. You just have to call a timeout as his opponent, because Luis is, when he gets comfortable up there, Jake, you do not want to be retrieving.
Absolutely. At the last U.S. Open of handball, he took out Paul Brady, the #1 player in the world, being down 8-0 in the tiebreaker. He came back and beat him, and that was the hottest I've seen a player in recent memory.
Score is 5-5, first game, quarterfinal. Charlie Shanks from Belfast,
Short.
Antrim County, face Luis Moreno from Pima County, Arizona, in Tucson.
Who does Luis have to play out in Tucson, Arizona? Does he have some good competition?
Yeah, he plays against Abe Montijo, who scored 15 and 20 against Sean Linning last night. Also, Chris Maldonado. Danny Perez is kind of his silent sparring partner. You don't hear a lot about him, but he did take Tyree Bastidas to a tiebreaker and was up 8-5 in that tiebreaker to qualify at the first FBC in Tucson, so he's got game. Tyree later went on to win that 11-9. Danny Perez, and we're missing out on Fergal Collins, who comes in from Ireland every year, and then also Stephen Cooney comes down from Ireland and lives in Tucson.
What about Dave Vincent?
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Short.
I've scored 19 points off Luis.
Did he use both hands?
No, one whole complete year, accumulative.
That was 19 different matches, right?
Yeah, I can't wait for game number 53 and 54 to take place, because I might get over the 21-point mark. Makes my stories better.
8 serves 5.
I retire when it gets to 21 too, by the way. It sounds weird to say I scored 23 points. Whoa, look at that.
So that was just athleticism.
How could Charlie Shanks even think that that ball didn't make the front wall?
Yeah, that just shows that he doesn't really understand things very well.
5 serves 8.
It's clearly good.
One of our very close friends, Wayne Salo, said, just think of what the opposite of that ball, the action of that ball off the front wall would be if it was a skip, or the opposite of whatever it was.
Right.
And you'll know if it's a skip or not.
Right.
What would the opposite of that be? That one that hit the front wall and rolled out.
6
Right.
serves 8.
It would have popped up.
Would have popped up. Now you know you made it.
Wayne
Thank
Salo is a wise handball man.
He does more thinking than he does playing, but
7 serves 8.
score is 7-8. There's a little bit of that reverse from Luis.
Right. Great reverse is a powerful weapon in handball. Takes your opponent by surprise, and even if your opponent knows that it's coming and anticipates that, the amount of movement on it surprises them. So the difference between a little reverse and a big reverse will get you a setup also.
A little power right there from Luis. I think Luis has seen what it's like to play against himself. I mean, he's got a guy that has driving power in Charlie Shanks, an amazing serve, and he
9 serves 7.
can blow balls by you while you're in the middle of a rally.
They are very similar players.
I mean, Charlie doesn't have the hands that Luis has,
I saw it
but
slide, Charlie.
there's elements of Charlie's game that looks very similar to Luis's.
First serve.
They're going to replay that. The referee saw the ball slide.
7.
That kind of goes along with what you said about slides, that sometimes you kind of slightly see it, but you let the players play it.
Right.
That'd be like a Major League Baseball umpire saying, I think I saw the fan touch that, but I'll just call it a home run.
Yeah, you know, it's more like, you know, at the end of a game, calling the ball a touchdown and then having the replay booth go and look at it again, and if the call was wrong, it can be reversed by the linesman, but if it's right, it stands.
Well, that one looked like it could have slid down there, but that, again, that's that control that Luis has of going over the top of a ball.
That was a nasty reverse. Great serve.
Over.
Good call.
Very good call, because it actually looked like that Luis had the point there, and then Charlie came in and showed you that even with his offhand, he caught up to that.
8 serves 9.
It was slightly down and looked like it could have been a point, but
Short.
Shanks was right there for it, so it's the proper call to play it again.
Second serve.
I'm shocked these days by the lack of thinking that goes involved into a second serve by many of the pros. Luis on that shot, it's a lob serve and he just put it in play, but you'd think that there is a second serve that he could hit that would be better designed to getting a setup than that.
As opposed to maybe just throwing it into play, but you're saying something that's safe, but yet you are putting your opponent maybe into an awkward position on a return,
right.
Especially when you've got that power that Luis has and that hook ability. I kind of think that maybe standing more toward the right wall, going in with maybe that Rick Christian sort of, I'm just going to bounce it about, Sean Linning strike zone height and just put a huge natural onto it, let it cut into the wall.
Most players don't on a second serve hit a power serve. It's not that safe. And so you go to an alternative serve and you hit a 3-wall or a 2-wall or a lob. But I suppose my objection was that he just kind of bounced it and put it in play like he didn't even think about what he was doing.
Right. Some players do that on their first serve. Marco Chavez. Emmett Pichot sometimes does it. But I think they're thinking about.
Last night I watched Shanks beat Tyree Bastidas, and there were so many things that Tyree did throughout the match that showed a lack of thinking. I mean, he would pick up the ball and serve it wherever he was standing. He hit it as hard as he could, so it came flying off the back wall, and he played a handball match as if he didn't have a brain. And Shanks was the beneficiary of that. Shanks won the match, I think it was 11-8, when it really should have been a tight, close match.
That was one of those matches that I had circled on the scoreboard there. I wanted to see that one because it could either be a blowout in Shanks' favor, or it could be a tight game that could go to Tyree, not really knowing how they were going to match up.
Right. And I think they are, as far as skill goes, they're very equal. Tyree he's a great player. He has all the shots, but he needs to improve the mental aspect of the game for sure.
Charlie, you want to go around?
You're watching the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball, Los Caballeros Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California. The United States Handball Association has many more upcoming events and tournaments. The National Four-Wall Juniors are in San Diego, December 27th through the 30th. That's going to be at the San Diego Racket Club.
11 serves 9.
You have a junior that wants to get involved in handball, make sure to get a hold of the United States Handball Association. Nice shot right there from Charlie Shanks. His return, perfect location, James.
That was a great shot. He's just reacting to it. The ball hit the crack, and really it looks like he's just trying to get it back, but he hit it so well that it rolled out. That's a nice left hand by Charles Shanks. Being two-handed is such an important part of pro handball. You have to be able to hit driving power shots and kill shots with both hands, and both of these players have excellent offhands, and having that as a weapon is a valuable asset. And I think it's one way that the pro handball game has developed and evolved is that all the pro players have excellent offhands, and that wasn't true 20 years ago. Remember coming up, you know, John Robles is an example of a guy who was a one-handed player, and you know he made it to be number 3 on the pro tour, you know, having a terrible offhand. And today the game has improved to the point where everybody has great offhands.
There's another guy that I knew that had this really bad offhand by the name of James Comstoff, who was on the pro tour, you know, ranked in the top 15 for about 11 years.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know him or not, but
my offhand was pretty weak, comparatively speaking.
Right, right. It was still better than my strong hand, but
no, that's not true.
Second serve.
this is game 1. But you're right, and I think what happens is, well, in the case of Luis Moreno, believe it or not, one of his mentors is Sean Lenning, because they would spar together. And Sean has this an amazing offhand where I don't even know if it is an offhand, and also Alan Garner, and these guys are watching Alan and Sean play, and you don't even know if they have an offhand.
I think that's true. I think they kind of all came up around the same time, and they all watched each other play and realized that they needed to develop a great offhand, and they did it.
11 serves 11.
11 serves 11.
Shanks is going to the lob serve. He's trying to slow down the pace, and I think it's good in a match to change pace when you kind of get stuck and you're not scoring points quickly with your power serve. It's a good idea to, from a strategic point of view, to slow the pace down and try to change the rally a little bit and try to get things going for yourself again.
Now, when you were coming up and you were
12 serves 11.
an inspiring lawyer back in Northern California, and you're playing handball, and people would say, oh, he's a smart guy, that James Comstock.
Right.
Were you also scheming and thinking of, you know, starting to study the game of handball a little bit more, or were you just say, I'm blessed with this great back wall with my right hand, and that's what I'm...
Yeah, no. You know, part of, I think, one of my weaknesses as a pro player was that as a young player coming up, I always did whatever I had to do to try to win the match at hand, instead of, you know, working on my game and developing offense and taking hard kill shots that you need at the pro level, but maybe not in the juniors. And so I learned at an early age, you know, how to figure out your opponent's weaknesses, how to attack those weaknesses, and how to get by. And I won a lot of matches, you know, in that way, and I kind of moved up the ranks because of that. But it meant that when I got to the top level, I had a hard time because I hadn't developed my skill set as much as some of the other players did.
Score is 14-11. You're listening to the voice of James Comstoff, and yours truly, Dave Vincent. Quietly, and now a little bit with sound, Charlie Shanks was down 11-8, and now he has a 14-11 advantage. That's 6-0 run right there with that change of serve.
It was a good strategic move, change the pace of the game, and a lot of times when you're in the middle of an even match, it's good to change the pace. You change the nature of the rally, and you don't let your opponent stay comfortable.
That's what I've noticed about the players that come out of Ireland, James, is that they are not afraid to change the serve in the middle of something. You know, he's playing a very equal game with Luis, and he decides to change. We're seeing that a lot from the Irish players.
Right. It's a good quality to have, the ability to try and find something else that might work for you a little better than what you've been doing. And you know, Tony Healy is a master of that, of figuring out what's happening in a match and making a move to try to change the pace. And he's got a great lob serve, but he can also hit the power serve as well.
14 serves 11.
It seems as though Shanks has that ability as well to figure out what needs to be done in the match to get to 21. So that was good. So Shanks was down on the ground and hit the ball back through himself. If he would have stood up in that circumstance, it would have been an avoidable hinder, and he did the right thing. He stayed down. It meant that he lost the rally, but that was fair play.
I think he could have popped up a little
11
quicker,
serves
though,
14.
especially with all that energy he spent jumping up to run to the back court. But you're right, he took himself out of the game, but he had to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, let's play that over.
So,
Great call.
and it's again his size working against him. You know, the kind of effort that it takes to get up from that position on the ground is a lot more because of his size than it would be for a smaller player, and so he's going to lose some of those hard rallies in that way.
Last weekend in the semifinals, we saw Luis Moreno lose to Nadia Alvarado at the Jake Plummer event.
I think the one thing that you can say about Moreno, if you want to call it a weakness, is that he doesn't have the consistency of some of his other top pro players. That he can have a day where he's playing at a super high level, you know, possibly a #1 kind of level. Then he goes out and has a day where a player might beat him that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, I agree with that. And he said recently that he went back and bought some of the DVDs through our web store and said, I wanted to see what I did earlier. I'm trying to maybe recapture some of that energy.
Replay, 11 serves 14.
I mean, he has the physical ability.
Right.
Point.
He's got the shots, and you know, part of the problem of relying on great serving and great offense is that sometimes you just don't have it on a particular day. We saw that a lot from Toddy Silveira in the 90s, that he would have a day where he'd be playing at such a high level, serving so well, and he'd smoke Chapman in Chapman's prime, but then come out the next pro stop and Chapman would smoke him.
13 serves 14.
13 serves 14. Now Luis on a little run of his own. This is the first game, men's quarterfinals. Winner will face either Dave Fink or Alan Garner. That quarterfinal match will be coming up after this one.
Luis has kind of gotten the
14 serves 14.
momentum going here in the middle of the first game.
Surprised Luis didn't let that drop a little more.
Right. That looked to be like a setup, and he's passed up 2 setups in a row now. If he's going to be on his game, he's got to put those balls away.
Look at these guys are playing squash in here.
Nice pass shot. We've got Shanks on the floor again. It seems to be kind of a strategy for Luis to hit a kill shot that Shanks has to go down to the floor to get, and he's slow getting up, so there's an easy pass shot waiting for him on the next ball.
It's a timeout here. It's game number 1. Luis Moreno up versus Charlie Shanks from Belfast, 15-14. 2 games to 21, tiebreaker to 11. The United States Handball Association has a lot of events coming up, and one of them is the National Four-Wall Juniors in San Diego at the San Diego Racket Club, December 27th through the 30th. USHA Master Doubles were going to be held at a place where you and I share a little bit of history, James.
That's right.
As both former, what would you say it? What were we at the Concord, the Big C Athletic Club? You were the
pretend handball players. Is that
the
what
pro, the club pro.
That's right.
You were the club pro there, and then after you left, I became the club pro there. Did you know that?
Times were tough.
It was rough. They had a lot to choose from. You know, Jeff Cardinal.
Right.
I mean, who are you going to pick? Vince Martinez?
Right. Yeah,
No, they went with DV. They went with the one that spoke louder. So anyway, the National Master is going to be held there February 10th through the 13th. That's at the Big C at our old stopping grounds. And also don't miss the National Collegiate Championship hosted by the WPH at Arizona State University in Tempe, Arizona, the 23rd through 27th of February 2011. And
13 serves 14.
I spoke to Jake Plummer, who was a quarterback for ASU, just a couple days ago, and he said, I'm definitely going. So cool. Jake's going to come back, return to his alma mater, 16-14.
The collegiate tournament is a fabulous tournament. You get young players between the ages of 18 and 22. A lot of novice players, but that's good. It's good for the sport. And also top-level open players as well.
17 serves 14.
And they do something that's really cool there, we'll talk about in a second, which you are completely aware of. There's a little congestion there, but nothing being called.
And it's the right call. You got to let them play through that part of
the game.
14 serves 17.
Score is 14-17. You went to LFC.
I did.
Your coach was Mike Dow. And you know this as good as anybody when it comes to the collegiates. The one thing that's different there is that the camaraderie of the students. We saw Eric Hilgren, the captain of Mo State,
Replay, 14 serves 17.
in one of the far courts with another 20 of the students watching a women's C match and rooting them on, and it was so infectious and fun to watch that atmosphere. You don't see that at a normal handball tournament.
That's correct. You know, it's
15 serves
imagine
17.
that you travel to a handball tournament with 20 of your closest friends, you know, and you get to root on your buddy, and you're also pulling for your teammate as well, and it's the one tournament, you know, in the whole world where there's a team championship.
It's like an Olympic atmosphere in a way.
It is. It is.
They have their team colors on. They're all rooting each other
16
on.
serves 17.
And
It's great.
then you find yourself going, wow, I kind of like the school colors of Anglo State or whatever.
Right.
And you go, I kind of like these guys. They're really cool. And I want to hang out with, you know, Willie Banks because he's a neat guy. And the next thing you know, you're really rooting those guys on, and it's really different. You don't see that here. In a lot of ways, you don't. What we do see is when we come to Southern California, they have their hometown favorites. Nadia Alvarado has his favorites. So in a lot of ways, you get the rooting sections. You know, Eddie Chapa has a group that wants to watch it play. So that's what makes this tournament special, is because there kind of is that sort of feel here. But
in most tournaments, there's local favorites, but the collegiates is something special because you've got 4 or 5, you know, solid teams, and they're competing for a championship. And anything that you do in a team sports setting takes on a whole lot more meaning than when you're just doing it for yourself. And it's a great tournament.
Yeah, that's the Collegiate National United States Handball Association Championships hosted by the WPH at ASU February 23rd through 27th. We will have another live webcast from that location as well.
Excellent.
So for those that don't watch or aren't in the collegiates, you can watch the live
17
webcast.
serves 17.
Here comes the important part of the game. Tied at 17. We got a game up to 4. Who's going to make the clutch shot?
Short.
And this is an issue for Shanks, getting that first serve over the line. At this point in the game, you don't want to be hitting short balls.
Point.
That's just a hand error from Luis. He can't be making those kind of mistakes at this point in the game.
Count.
You saw Luis go up 11-8, and then Charlie went up 14-11, then Luis tied it at 14, and then Luis went up to 17-14, and now Charlie comes back with 4 straight points.
It's a back and forth match. These guys are very evenly matched in terms of their shot making today. Should be an exciting finish.
Dave Fink's going to really hate me for saying this because I know he's back in his cabana
18 serves 17.
watching this, but whoever's serving last is going to win this game.
I don't think you're allowed to say cabana in a handball tournament.
I know. Well, saying Dave Fink first was sort of like my my excuse.
19 serves 17.
Another error from Luis Moreno. He's got to get
Short.
his focus back here. Otherwise, this first game's going to go to Shanks.
Second serve.
Somebody hit our camera up top. That's why you see a little slant up there. I mean, I still like it, but I walk with my head tilted. Ooh, that was a slight miss right there from Charlie Shanks.
That was a difficult back wall shot. It was wrapping around the walls. It had an
17
extreme
serves
angle
19.
to it. So it was a low percentage shot with his offhand. He went for it and came up just short.
Replay.
These players are playing really tight,
Yeah.
really close to
Luis
each
got
other.
a break there. He gave Shanks a big setup, and instead of putting it away, Shanks
Replay,
pulled it down the
17
wall
serves
and
19.
allowed Moreno to get the hinder call. Here comes another big setup for Luis.
Point.
He converted a pass shot, forced error.
18 serves 19. Replay.
Oh, that's tough.
It is a tough call. It's a fine line. question is, could he have gotten the ball? And
You can't say as a referee he couldn't, though.
right, you have to be 100% sure that the player could not have gotten the ball to call that a point. And Tommy thought that
Over.
he had a shot at it.
Now Charlie doesn't think that he got a shot on it. Actually, Luis really did have a shot for that one.
That was an easy call.
The other one is really tough, especially.
18.
And I disagree with Tommy's call on the last one, on the 1-2 shots ago, but it was a close call for sure.
I mean, it doesn't help to know that Charlie Shanks is like 7'2" out there.
He's got a long reach. He's going to get to a lot of balls. That's a great kill shot. That was a difficult back wall shot. The ball was dropping and very low, and he reached behind him and converted a low percentage kill shot in a clutch situation.
19-18.
Now's the time at the end of a game where you want to go with your best shot. You want to hit your best serve, go for the ace, go for the kill shot.
We see Luis leaving a lot of balls up, though, James.
Yes.
I mean, he has kill shot opportunities, but he doesn't have the Nadi Alvarado.
He's not
moxie.
playing. The reason that he hasn't ran away with this game is that he's not playing good enough offense. He needs to kill the ball more, better.
No slide.
Shanks is looking for a slide. No one saw a slide.
18 serves 19. Short.
Wow.
It's a poor effort on a first serve in a big spot.
Boy, if that was just another couple
Second
inches,
serve.
that would have been 4 bounces before the back wall. That's not a bad second serve.
That was
It's a little
good.
risky, though.
It was a good second serve. Shanks left the ball up.
I mean, I know Luis is tied at 19 here, but he's really pushing Charlie back on shots when normally I think Luis would just
19,
dump those balls.
19.
He's got all the ability to hit a ball 1 inch high anytime he wants. There's a crack serve, 2 bounce.
Nice call.
Nice call by Charlie Shanks.
Here it
20
is.
serves 19.
Possible game.
It's a good return from Shanks. It's a big spot. It's a difficult shot. A ceiling ball that comes off the back wall is 10 times of harder back wall shot than a regular back wall. So it's not, even though that ball was out and in the middle of the play, it's not really a setup. And so the fact that he missed it is, it's not just an unforced error.
Now we're all even at 20 here, first game. Charlie Shanks and Luis Moreno.
Luis tried to just kill that ball out of position from 38 feet. That's a bad decision.
This is one of those guys that Charlie has not beaten yet. And there he goes. He got him the first
serve.
game. 21-20 on an ace serve. Crack on the left side for Charlie Shanks.
That was a great finish to a hard-fought first game.
Charlie Shanks getting that crack serve. That's what Luis tried to do when he served at 20 over on the opposite side, but he didn't get it. Charlie takes the first one. We're going to take a break here in the booth from the Los Caballeros Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California. Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball for Jeff Castor and my broadcast partner, James Comstoff. My name is Dave. We'll be back in just a bit. Stick here.
Time's in.
And we are back live from the Los Caballeros Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California. 0-0 here with Charlie Shanks serving. He won the last game 21-20 versus Luis Moreno.
Exciting game. Looking forward to another close game 2. Got to say hi to LaGrange, Illinois. My wife Amy.
Okay, let's begin.
Daughters Ryan and Reese. My son Cooper, listening to the webcast.
What's your son's name?
Linesman
Cooper.
set.
Cooper. And your daughter is?
0
Ryan
to
and
0.
Reese.
Ryan and Reese. Okay, I got it. I was reading a text message where Dave Fink was critiquing our webcast together. It's kind of hard to read and listen to the names of your children.
Right.
Wife Amy. I caught part of this. I got the LaGrange part.
One serve 0. Point.
That ball straightened down the right wall.
It's a natural.
2 serve
Great
0.
serve.
Short.
Remember, at a couple U.S. Opens
Second
ago,
serve.
Charlie Shanks took Emmett Pachot to a tiebreaker.
That's right.
He defeated Sean Lenning at a pro stop.
Short. Side
He's
out.
also had a couple real bad wins in America too. It seemed like he just couldn't get over that tier that he really was past, but he couldn't get
0 serves 2.
past him in America. Now you're seeing him compete against the top tier.
He is. This might be his breakthrough tournament, but he's been stuck in that kind of 4 through 8 quarterfinalist mold where he can't beat the top guys, but he's real strong and steady against the guys 9 through 16. When you talk about players from Ireland, and they're known for having the Irish whip, but Charlie Shanks doesn't have that. He plays a classic American offensive game of handball. It's a great get in the backcourt to keep the rally alive. Luis gave him a setup off the back wall. It's a poor choice from Luis. Got tangled up there at the end.
Score is 3-0, second game.
This is Moreno's issue, is can he be consistent, keep up his high level of play? He runs the risk of kind of mentally checking out. If he lets Shanks get a big lead in this game, it would be bad for him.
Referee letting him play through that congestion.
Really the issue is whether the player has a good look at the ball, and it seems like they did, even though it was right on top of each other. If you have the room to swing and you get a clear look at the ball, it's not hitting it. Seems to be an issue, particularly today, about whether the players will, put forth the effort that's required to stay with their opponent. We saw it in the Noddy Jr. Lenning match that Noddy really checked out and didn't come with his focus and his A game, and really had a poor effort. If Luis doesn't get going here, he might fall into that same category here.
Score is 1-4. Luis has erased these type of deficits even in this tournament.
He's such a streaky player that he has the ability to do that, but it's, I think, very important for him in this beginning of the second game to really get going, to stay with Shanks, and to build a lead. I think it's a bad idea for him to dig himself a hole here.
And there's a timeout call from Charlie Shanks. The score would be 3-4. And it will be that score when we return from that timeout. Non-toxic and biodegradable is Simple Green. They're leading the way in environmentally safer cleaning products. Whether you're inside or outside, you can just dilute Simple Green's product and make it a little bit stronger or weaker depending on what surface you're on. I saw that they have a barbecue grill degreaser now that is environmentally safe. Go to simplegreen.com or check them out at the local retailer near you. This live broadcast brought to you by them as well as the WPH, World Players of Handball. We're online live at WPHlive.tv, and you can buy your membership with the WPH to support the live webcast and to get all the goodies that we give out at thehandballstore.com. Go to www.thehandballstore.com. You can watch live webcasting like the one that you're viewing right now. Free DVDs like the World Championship Finals that have been produced by the WPH, the USHA 4-Wall National Finals, the Dave Chapman Instructional Handball DVD, and videos on demand. That's part of the membership at thehandballstore.com. Support the WPH so we can do more events like this. Your membership actually funds the live webcast, Jake.
The webcast is such a great product. You know, when you can't make it to the tournament, you can't travel for whatever reason, you get to watch the best players in the world compete in the comfort of your own home. It's a fabulous thing and well worth the price of a membership.
Score here is 4-4. You've always been one of the very first people to buy your membership. In fact, when we went member driven, I think you were the 4th ever, and you would have been first, but somebody hit the send button before you.
That's right. The WPH is a great organization, promotes the game of handball, and everyone should join.
That's funny. Your wife isn't a member.
We'll work on
Amy, thehandballstore.com. Your husband's away from home, and you have the credit card.
Uh-oh.
Skip. Point.
These guys are wrestling for control of this second game.
First game went to Charlie Shanks, if you're just tuned in, 21-20, and that one was close to getting Shanks right in the side of the face on that fish shot from Luis. He broke out of there.
It was a creative pinch kill shot.
4 serves 5.
It's a low percentage shot, but he converted it.
Well, we're due for someone to get hit in the face. I mean, every match has had one. Sean Lenning got plunked earlier today, and then Dave Chapman took one right in the nose with a fish shot from Tommy Little.
Getting hit in the face with a handball is not a pleasant experience.
Replay, 4 serves 5.
Our good friend Bill Mihilos from Chicago is known for hitting his opponents with the ball. He's hit me in the face a couple of times in our careers.
Was it contact? Okay. Let's replay that. Nails the floor up there.
Eye protection is an important safety feature for handball, and when you get hit in the eye, you save the eye, but if you get hit just right, you usually get a black eye.
Well, the pro players are the most accurate players in handball, and we've already seen the quarterfinal matches have 2 where guys could have lost eyes. So if you're playing without eye guards, even if it's with a big ball, then
bad idea.
I don't know what Charlie's talking about there. He's saying that Luis was hitting the ball before he called the score.
Just wants the ref to slow down a little bit. That's appropriate.
Point.
It's a nice re-kill by Luis, taking advantage of the open left side.
5 serves 5. Point.
Converts a big setup. Luis looks like he's trying to get his offensive package going here.
6 serves 5.
That's a huge setup there.
It's a mistake.
Point.
Luis converted. Big setup.
Rob Pierce is watching the live webcast from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He wanted me to say hi to you.
Hi, Rob.
Well, that conversation went good. Thought maybe you had a little bit more to say for your old-time Pro Tour buddy, Pro Qualifier / Pro Tour buddy.
That's right. I think Rob and I are in the same category of getting too old.
Oh, I thought we were on the offhand story still. The score here is 8-5. It is a timeout called by the players here in the men's quarterfinals. Earlier today, it was Sean Lenning advancing to now face Dave Chapman.
Sean Lenning's nursing a shoulder. He's coming back off a shoulder injury. And the great Darren Grable always said, if you're hurt, you're not playing. If you're playing, you're not hurt. So when you enter a handball tournament, that means you're fit enough to play, and you can't, even in the quiet of your own mind, think to yourself, I'm injured, because that just gives you an easy excuse when the going gets tough to give up.
Ace handballs are the official balls for the U.S. Handball Association. Ace handballs are durable. They have a lively bounce. What really sets an ace handball apart is the competition is that all the proceeds go back to the development of the game. In fact, pro prize money at the USHA 1-wall, 3-wall, 4-wall nationals depend on the sales of an ace. Go to their web store at ushandball.org and purchase your case or just a couple balls. Just buy an ace from the USHA. 8-5 is the score here, game number 2. Charlie Shanks won the first game 21-20.
With an ace serve at game point.
What was Luis thinking there?
Not exactly sure. I don't know what he's looking for here.
I thought he got it.
He's looking for a double bounce against his opponent. That's a very rare thing, to ask the referee to call a double bounce on your opponent.
What's also strange is that Luis runs all the way up there and just barely throws the ball back so Charlie can get up and put it away. If Luis didn't think he got it, why would he even go up to get the ball?
I don't know.
I mean, he gets to the ball, but he throws it right back to Charlie.
I don't know what was going through his mind on that one. Reminds me of the old Danny Bell appealing his own get. That's one of the worst sportsmanship moves that I know of in handball, is to say, I think I got it, but I'm not sure. And usually, if there's a question in your mind, it means you didn't get it.
8 serves 5.
Who was Danny playing when that happened? 8-5 is the score here.
He was playing me about 20 times.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I had to ask.
I think my lifetime record against Danny Bell is about 1-15. I was giving up about 10 years, but he always seemed to get me. See if Luis can get going here. He needs to turn up the heat.
9 serves 5.
Score is 9-5. That was a good serve there. It was a reverse.
Replay. Replay, 9 serves 5.
Uh-oh.
Avoidable?
Yeah, that's avoidable. I would have called that.
Replay, 9 serves 5.
Because it doesn't have to be accidental in order to be an avoidable, right?
It's not, intention has nothing to do with it. The point is, could you have avoided the contact? Charlie Shanks was trying to go around Luis to enhance his court position, and he tripped him doing it. It was a setup. It should have been a point.
It's just kind of a funny thing about avoidables. You know how most people don't know the rule of the avoidable because they just don't play in practice because they don't like to, they don't like to call it. But I said on an obvious avoidable in practice one day, I said it's an avoidable. Oh, we don't call those here. And I said, well, let's not call short balls either.
Yeah, right.
12 serves 5.
Yeah, so, in a friendly practice match, it's very rare for handball players to call avoidables. They try to keep it friendly and just replay any kind of contact. But I think when the top players get together and they're playing a practice match and they know that they got in the way on a setup or something like that, they'll give the guy the point.
Yeah, it's usually the other way around, isn't it? The one that actually created the avoidable just knows it's an avoidable and just walks back.
Right. And these guys are good enough to know that.
Replay 13 serves 5.
You got to think of an avoidable like a foul in basketball. You know, you hit the guy's arm, it's a foul, no big deal. You know.
Right out.
Shanks try to take momentum back here.
5 serves 13.
Score is 5-13, and just really quickly, Luis Moreno jumped out to a really big lead here.
That's the advantage of being a streaky player. When things are going well, the points pile up quick.
Well, there was a point there where it looked like Luis wasn't
6 serves 13.
going to score anything.
Shanks built a small lead at the beginning, and it looked like he might have been able to talk Luis out of the game, but Luis got his head on straight, is focused, and looking to take home game 2.
Luis is on a 12-1 run right now. Both of these players playing kind of a defensive game of handball where they're streaking back and then hitting the ball as hard as they can in wraparounds.
Right.
No real objective other than catching up to the ball and hitting hard someplace.
Sure, you know, a wrap shot is a good shot to do when you don't have any other choices. It usually keeps you out of trouble, so it is a defensive shot. And if that's all you can do, you're just barely getting to the ball, it's a good choice. But if you have time to set up, usually you want to go for that ceiling ball if you're playing defense or play offense if you have time to let it drop.
6 serves 14. Short.
There's a wicked hook right there. You know, we're talking about Luis Moreno having a big hook, but Charlie Shanks is unbelievable with his hook serve. Just that we haven't seen him enough over here to give him that staple, but he plays one wall over in Ireland, and you should see the hooks that this guy had. Now it's a different ball on that, but he still has it over here with the small ball too. Captain hook.
He definitely does, and it's a great shot. I heard Rick Christian say once that he's trying to hook the ball on every shot, and it makes sense. A hook shot in the middle of a rally is an incredible weapon. It takes your opponent by surprise much more than on a serve. On a serve, the returner is looking for a hook. He's watching your elbow, he's watching your mechanics, and a good player can read which way the ball is going to hook. In the middle of a rally, you take the player completely by surprise, and it's a way to get easy points.
Point.
Another hand error here from Shanks. This game has
16 serves 7.
a runaway kind of feel to it here, with Moreno having all the momentum at the moment.
Luis commanding the front court here.
Replay.
Now Charlie knows what it feels like.
I like that call. The ball was down, but Luis was there, and he's been getting to all those balls all day. It's the right call.
Replay 16 serves 7. Over.
If this game stays as it is now, we're going to be treated with an exciting tiebreaker.
Replay 16 serves 7. Point.
It's a good serve by Luis. It looks like he fooled Charlie a little bit, and Shanks could only kind of barely get his hand on it, gave him a setup, and Luis converted the point.
17 serves 7.
Score is 17-7. almost like Charlie gave Luis a wake-up call in that first game.
Right.
Point.
Luis really did struggle to get his offense going in the first game, and that's why Charlie was able to hang around and pull it out at the end. And now the offense is back for Moreno. And it'll be interesting to see if he can keep it going into the tiebreaker.
Second serve. Point.
Nice pass shot from Luis down the right wall. When you give a top pro a back wall
19
setup,
to 7.
you're pretty much cooked.
Score here is 19-7. Second game, Luis trying to force a tiebreaker.
Shanks looked like at this point, although he's not giving up, it looks like he's mentally
Replay,
saving himself for the
19-7.
tiebreaker.
That's a tough serve. Fought off by Charlie, though.
Good hands to get the ball back after it hit the crack. Got himself back into the rally. Shanks missed an opportunity to put the rally away, and he pays the price for it. That was a basic setup shot in the front court. He left it 2 feet high.
20-7. Nice game.
There it is.
5 minutes.
Luis Moreno winning the second game 21-7 after losing the first one 21-20. We're going to have a 11-point tiebreaker coming up right around the corner. You going to stick around with me for that tiebreaker?
You bet.
5 minutes from now, we'll be back on live as we do this here at the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball. Yeah. At the Los Caballeros Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California. We'll be back in just a bit. We want to say thanks to the Southern California Handball Association with all their volunteer work and all the donations that they put out there, but also the United States Handball Association, the Nadi Alvarados, Nadi Jr., Sr., but his family as well, the Alvarado family, John Bike, Lupita Bike, Lupe, Nadi Sr., Marissa, Carrie, Maureen Bike, John Bike Jr., Jab. They're all actually helping out. Mark Shelgren's part of that group. You see him on the courts. Tom Gilbert, who has an office right here at Los Caballeros. They're running a first-class event. And, you know, we were here in the inception in 2006, and right out of the get-go, they had the right philosophy. They made a change after that first year and said, you know what, we're going to bring referees in next year, and we're going to pay them. We're going to put them in their shirts. And they knew after 2006 there were some errors that took place, and they immediately did a survey, they corrected their problems, and they really want to run a first-class event. And I've really not seen a group that come back year in and year out put on an event like this, Jake.
That's correct. You know, the event is run in a professional manner, and that's something that I suppose in the sport of handball is rare. You know, most people who are involved in handball are volunteers, and so it's difficult to ask everyone to go the extra mile that they do here, but I think it's a labor of love for the Alvarado family and the whole group here in Southern California. They absolutely decided early on that they wanted this to be a first-class professional event, and they've succeeded in that.
Well, you remember back in the old days when Nadi Alvarado would hold the tournament called the Nadi Alvarado Classic, and I believe you probably at that time would have been one of the players that might have played in a couple of those.
Sure, absolutely.
And now this is an extension of that. This is the Nadi Alvarado Classic, but Simple Green has come along and make this a huge event.
That's right.
And it's in tune. It's really what they're trying to do is celebrate the greatest player to ever play the game, Nate Alvarado. It's his 19th Alvarado Classic, but it seems like every year we say 19. Are they ever going to get to 20, or is Nani just kind of afraid to hit 20? I mean, we all want to be 19 again.
We do. At some point, you just say that it's the anniversary of your 21st birthday. You don't talk about how old you are.
I say it's 19 again. I try to tell Nadi we can go to 20. It's all right to say that it's been your 20th.
Right. And you are correct that Nadi Alvarado Sr. is the greatest handball player in the history of the game. He's got 11 national championships, and it'll be interesting to see whether David Chapman can add to his 8. Right now, if Paul Brady isn't going to be coming over, he's the favorite to win this year in June. And it'll be very exciting and interesting to see if, after a long hiatus from winning, the last one he won was in 2004, if he can put it together and win a 9th title.
Well, I see Dave doing that, but you know, let's look at it this way. There were as many people at the 3-wall nationals as in prior years, and Dave Chapman had a longer hiatus from 3-wall, and he came back and won this year after being in the finals last year.
He did.
And I think his previous 3-wall win might have been 2000 or 1999. He was in the finals of 2004 when Sean Lenning won that year on a scratch. So, you know, he has come back, but really not to the force of you know, playing a guy like Paul Brady. And
the 4-wall nationals is, you know, regarded as the pinnacle of our sport, and how many titles that you win defines your career.
And you're right about that. I do not see Paul Brady staying home for the 2011 Nationals. I don't see it, and I would put bags of sand on it.
Okay.
Ready?
He has won the 4-wall nationals every year since 2005.
Right, that makes 6 in a row.
6 in a row, and going for a 7th in a row. It would be exciting to see him come back. I think right now that is the match that I would most want to watch, is Brady versus Chapman.
Well, you've had a chance to see it the last 2 nationals, and Chapman's not got more than 9 points.
Right. Staying at a high level for such a long time, a period of 6 years, is a very difficult thing to do. And the idea that Brady might be taking a break from handball is certainly understandable, and probably, you know, overall for his game might be good to give him some time to mentally take a break and rest up.
Score here is 0-0. This is a tiebreaker. Charlie Shanks and Luis Moreno.
Nice reverse serve to the left, earned him a setup, and he converted it. That's what Luis is trying to do on every serve, and he converted it for a 1-0.
Luis Moreno is sponsored by Echelon. He's part of the Team Echelon Pro Handball squad. It includes Tracy Davis, Owen Kennedy from Ireland, Willie Polanco, Emmett Pichot. Look at that hop. That thing was a major reverse.
3 great hop serves to start the tiebreaker.
Actually,
that ball hit the crock.
Contact.
We'll replay that.
Replay, 3-0.
That actually was a good serve too, but Charlie got it back.
Short.
Another close serve. Nearly an ace.
Second serve.
Here's a huge setup. Luis hit that so hard that it came right back.
Kind of mishit that kill shot there. It came off his pinky. And he's just had just enough to get it up to the front wall.
4-0.
There it is. That's a point.
The ref called the ball good.
That was good by about 5 inches.
Shanks gonna appeal.
I called it good.
It'll be overturned. It won't be overturned.
Second serve.
Wow.
Both linesmen disagreed with that call. The ball looked good to me. But, you know, when you're talking about millimeters, everybody's going to see that one differently.
You didn't see any argument from Luis either.
Whether you see the ball good or short depends on your angle, looking down at the play. And if you're directly above it, you can see it very well, but if you're lower, you might not see it so good.
Side out.
Score is 5-0 before Shanks even had a chance to step into the server's box here on the tiebreaker.
0 serves 5.
Playing in a tiebreaker, you really, really want to come out blazing. It's a bad idea to kind of get started slow. You want to play downhill in a tiebreaker and build a big lead. That's what Moreno's doing right now.
5 serves 0. Point.
There's a back wall shot that Shanks put in the floor. He can't afford to give Luis any free points here, being down 6-0. He's really got to focus his attention.
Point.
Now it's 7-0, going to 11.
Shanks was looking for a hinder call there, but it was a good pass by Luis and a right call by the referee.
Short.
Luis just looks different in this tiebreaker.
Right. He's got his momentum and his energy at a high level now.
I thought it was because he changed his shirt, but
I think it was
the light color to the dark.
He shook off his poor play from the first game, and he looks like he's moving forward well now.
Right out.
See if Shanks can mount a comeback here.
0 serves 7.
Luis hit the ball and it went out of the court. It's a replay.
Paul Lambert from Wexford in Ireland is watching this live webcast. 0 serves 7. Let me ask you about the hitting the ball out of the court deal.
Right.
See how this play develops here. And that's the first time Charlie scored here in the tiebreaker. If a player purposely is standing at the short line in the middle of the rally and just hits the ball as hard as he can to the ceiling, and it goes out of the court on purpose, only just so he can get back to the server's box, is there an issue with
No issue.
You can do that.
It's a legal play.
It's legal, you said.
It's legal.
Now in racquetball, you hit it out, it's either a side out or a loss of a point, or a point.
That would be a fine rule if that was the rule, but the rule in handball is it's simply a replay.
Spoke to a handball player last week.
7 serves 1.
7 serves 1, who purposely hit multiple balls out of the court so they can get back in and try to go for an ace serve.
And I wonder how many times they did that and failed to do it and created a setup for their opponent. I think it's a bad strategy.
Yeah, I think failed 5 out of about 8 tries.
Yeah, so,
but none of those failed attempts actually created any issue.
To me, it would mean, but it would mean you'd be hitting a very hard ceiling ball that would come way off the back wall.
And that happened
particularly with if it's a pro player doing it, his opponent would be able to convert that to a kill shot.
To me, it just sounds like there might need to be a rule change, or
maybe. Yeah,
I've never thought about it before, so probably I don't think anybody else has ever thought about it either.
It doesn't come up that often. I don't think that's a pressing issue.
But I'm going to use it next time I'm in
one rule change that I would propose for handball is that in the rule book, it says that you're not allowed to speak when it's your turn to hit the ball, and that comes up in doubles. So that in the rule book, you can say you and me, but that's it. You can't have conversations that involve more talking than that, and I think that's bad, particularly in 3-wall doubles. There's ways to talk during the rally where you give your partner information about the shot, like it's going to hit the wall, it's not going to hit the wall,
or it's going to be out, or
it's going to be out, bounce it.
I think that's part of the. I'd like. You want it to go away. I actually like it. The conversation.
Yeah, I like the conversation too. I think it's part of the teamwork in doubles, but technically it's against the rules. And I think that's a rule that isn't enforced by any referee, and it's just in the books only. But it should be changed because the spirit of handball and the spirit of doubles teamwork calls for more communication.
I actually ordered a pizza in the middle of a rally once.
1 serves 8.
Referee had a slice, so I didn't get called for the hinder there. 1 serves 8. Charlie Shanks trying to get 10 more points to now face the winner of Alan Garner and Dave Fink, who comes up right around the corner here in the men's quarterfinal match. Or maybe Luis needs 3 more or wants 3 more to face one of those guys. And Luis has certainly been hot since he lost the first game 21-20. Charlie Shanks has only scored 7 points since then.
He looks like he's got all the momentum going. His serve is working well. He's playing offense. Shanks has got a hard time here.
That was an amazing shot right there from Charlie.
It was. A fist with spin into the corner, roll out. Ref called that ball good. By the body language of the players, I think they both thought it was short.
Side out.
Shanks missed the ball in the front. Let's see if he can remember and appeal it. A lot of players forget that they thought the ball was short at the beginning of a long rally and forget to appeal it. And it looks like Shanks is not going to appeal that serve.
8 serves 1.
I see that a lot too.
There's an easy opportunity that Luis missed. It's really dangerous in a tiebreaker to give your opponent a window of opportunity, even with the big lead. Shanks can't seem to get the momentum going back into his favor.
8 serves 1.
His empty innings aren't good right now. It's a bad serve by Luis. It came around to Shanks' right hand and he rolled it out.
1 serves 8.
Shanks showing off his power with his left hand. He missed that one, gave Luis a setup, and he failed to convert the offensive opportunity. Again, he left the ball up.
Over! Yep, he's right there. He's right there, Luis.
Luis had 3 chances to end that rally with a kill shot, and he missed all 3.
And he couldn't see it either.
Good call by the referee, hinder.
Replay, 1 serves 8. Point.
Ace serve from Shanks.
2 serves 8.
Score is 2-8, we're going to 11.
Shanks going to the power serve to the right now, trying to get some easy points. Luis, another skip ball. Moreno has had 4 or 5 poor rallies now. Shanks is starting to grab momentum here.
3 serves 8. Side out.
Another miss from Shanks. That was a big setup. That's a shot that he has to make if he's going to come back in this match.
8 serves 3.
Score is 8-3. Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball.
Nice patience by Luis there on the ceiling ball that barely came off the back wall. He took his time and made sure he got it back to the front wall.
In the first game, he would have rushed that and tried to go for a kill shot and miss.
It's a good decision. He's being patient now. The question is, can he convert the offensive opportunity when he gets it? Looks like Shanks made a great get on a kill shot by Luis, and he re-killed it for a big side out.
You're watching the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball and Nadi Alvarado Classic live from Los Caballeros Sports Village in Fountain Valley, California, alongside Jamie Comstoff. My name is Dave Vincent. You're watching this feed courtesy of the World Players of Handball and NiftyTV.com.
3 serves 8.
Score is 3-8. And of course, the feed coming from Jeff Kastner, who's the silent hero of all the live webcasts. Another side out here, James.
Another error from Shanks. This tiebreaker started off with Moreno looking really sharp, but now we've fallen into some sloppy play here from both players.
Nice get right there from Luis.
Nice get. Shanks. A left hand dump pass shot.
Well, yeah, it's weird. You don't normally say all those words together, but Luis actually thought that he was going to dump it, and he ended up pushing it.
Turned out to be a pass shot. What did they say in the 70s? Kill for show, pass for dough.
That's what they said, actually.
I think now they just say, just kill it.
Naughty. Naughty Alvarado would say kill for show and kill for dough.
I think Paul Brady has made his living by being able to hit great passing shots with both hands from any spot on the court.
And from being in top shape.
That's right.
Over.
The athleticism of Paul Brady is something that I think people don't talk about, but he's so quick to the ball, and he's so quick to get in the proper position to hit the right shot, and that comes from his fitness, his speed. And everybody talks about his offensive prowess, but really it starts with his athleticism.
Charlie Shanks tying his shoe as many times as Emmett Pachot has during this match.
3 serves 8.
Score is 3-8.
Luis has really stopped being aggressive in this tiebreaker. He's got to get that aggressiveness back if he wants to win this match. It's always a bad strategy to just kind of hang on and try to close out a tiebreaker. You really got to push, stay aggressive.
And now another point here from Charlie, and the crowd getting behind him.
It's a dangerous time for Moreno right here.
I like that serve.
That was a good hook. Timeout for Moreno. Nice reverse to the left. Shanks now solidly has the momentum back, and Moreno's shaking his boots a little bit.
You're watching the Simple Green U.S. Open of Handball alongside James Comstoff. My name is Dave Vincent. Non-toxic, not James, but we're talking about Simple Green.
I'm a little toxic.
A little bit of toxic. Biodegradable. They lead the way in environmentally safer cleaning products, and if you don't believe me, just go try it. Do a test. They want you to. Biodegradable, non-toxic. It's concentrated. The original green cleaner for over 35 years. SimpleGreen.com. And you're watching the live webcast courtesy of Nifty TV. They're your online source for streaming video. They're kind of like internet TV. You go to their website at niftytv.com and you see all the different projects that they're involved in. Nifty TV is truly kind of a innovative and intuitive type organization. Go there, check out what they're doing. You don't even have to be a techie to understand what they're talking about. You can watch sports just like it's a television. Download the video player just like you watch, and it's free. niftytv.com. Also the WPH, World Players of Handball. If you like what you see with the live webcast, please support us and become a member.
5 serves 8.
At WPHpass.com. Good serve from Charlie.
A lot of great benefits to being a member of the WPH, including this wonderful webcast. That's a mistake there by Moreno. Shanks couldn't convert it. Good non-call by the referee there. Gonna play through it.
Good get from Luis Moreno on the front court. It was Shanks who dug that. Did Luis catch up to it, or was it a double bounce?
I think he got it. No, he's calling a double bounce. It's a great sportsmanship
And
call
that proves,
by Moreno.
And that proves that the crowd actually thought that he got it.
And
Because they wouldn't have clapped the second time if they were clapping the first time.
it looked like from this angle that he did get it. The referee obviously thought he got it, and that's a great part of handball, that the sportsmanship, even in a close tiebreaker, is still there.
Yeah, I don't think even the referee saw that he didn't get that. I mean, everybody was applauding Luis for coming up, catching that ball in the front.
Right.
It's a gentleman's sport.
been a while since Moreno's in serve. That was a huge natural.
That hit Charlie in the left leg. Charlie was turning back, looking at the back wall.
Usually when a power serve to the right has a natural on it, it will straighten out. But that one actually moved back to the left about a foot. And
that was amazing.
That's a great serve. It's something that the returner cannot read. And it's always a great feeling to hit your opponent with a hook.
Luis, this
was a lack of focus right there. He can't afford those kind of errors at this point in the tiebreaker.
Short.
Oof.
Second serve.
I like how Charlie goes up to the ceiling here. He's
Right.
or to the roof, as they say in Ireland.
A roof shot. It's a setup. He passed it up and went for the pass instead of the kill. There's the kill shot. Moreno has gotten very conservative as this tiebreaker has gone on, and he's paying the price for it.
He might go down the same spot as he hit him last time, do a reverse.
Short.
Right, and that would be a good idea, because Shanks has that fresh in his mind that natural is huge. So it makes sense to reverse down the right.
That's Luis's go put away serve, is the one that he serves right at the guy and does a reverse on. And this you might see it right here, James. He actually goes right in front of himself. It's usually his last serve of a match. He'll go right down the middle and hop away, which will be a reverse. Let's see what he does. There it is. Oh, and he comes back.
Oh, huge
amazing
hook for an ace at match point.
That's Luis's his put away. He'll go all the way to the left wall. He'll serve right down the middle, and he'll go either way, right or left. That's his put away serve. He does it only one time a match, and he'll do it on the last one.
It's good to have that in your repertoire to go to in a key spot. It's the best strategy at match point to go for